Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. A wrestling veteran believes Roman Reigns already has a fifth member ready for the OG Bloodline's War Games match against the new Bloodline at Survivor Series. Rikishi also thinks that Paul Heyman won't be returning to WWE television alone. The Wiseman has been out of action since the end of June after Solo Sikoa and his bloodline put him through the commentator's table. Reigns and the OG bloodline have reunited, but Heyman is still missing from the equation. The faction also needs to add a fifth member after Bronson Reed was recruited by Sikoa. Speaking on the latest episode of his Off the Top podcast, Rikishi was asked to give his thoughts on Heyman and the potential fifth superstar who'll team up with the OG bloodline. The WWE Hall of Famer claims the Wiseman has something up his sleeve to help the OTC. There's definitely a lot of family members that can possibly fill that spot to be the fifth member. But we gotta kind of wait to see what's happening with Paul Heyman, the Wiseman. Just because he's out there right now, I'm sure he's got something in mind, like the best person to fit that fifth spot to be able to watch Roman Reigns. I'm sure everybody is going to be shocked whoever that fifth person is going to be, Rikishi said. 5:38 to 6:39, Roman Reigns is set to team up with Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and a fifth member to take on Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Bronson Reed inside War Games at Survivor Series on November 30th in Vancouver, Canada. Bubba Ray Dudley predicts how Seth Rollins could agree to team up with Roman Reigns on Tuesday's episode of Busted Open Radio. Bubba Ray Dudley predicted that Seth Rollins will be the fifth member of the OG Bloodlines team at Survivor Series. Dudley thought that the only way to convince Seth was if Roman Reigns personally apologized to him before Survivor Series. Roman and Seth have the history, and we haven't seen Roman and Seth talk. Maybe that's what we're going to get with the one Monday Night Raw that's left, or the two SmackDowns that are left, the Roman-Seth face-to-face. The Roman-Seth sit-down. The Roman pouring his heart out to Seth, Dudley said. H/T Wrestling Incorporated. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins were originally part of The Shield along with Dean Ambrose. They have a long history together, both as partners and rivals. Rollins has always had Reigns' number, and it will be interesting to see if the Visionary reunites with his former Shield brother. As WWE inches closer to Survivor Series, rumors are running rampant about major surprises set to shake the foundations of the company. At the heart of the buzz is Paul Heyman, the wise man of the bloodline, who reportedly won't be returning to the company alone. Recent reports suggest Heyman might bring a game-changing ally with him, one who could be instrumental in tilting the scales in favor of Roman Reigns and his faction at War Games. According to veteran wrestling analyst and former manager Dutch Mantell, Reigns' team may already have its fifth member in place, someone who could rewrite the Bloodline's history. This isn't just about loyalty, it's about strategy, Mantell stated on a recent podcast. Heyman's been in the background long enough, and knowing him, he'll have a wild card up his sleeve for War Games. Roman Reigns doesn't go into battle unprepared. Paul Heyman's absence sparks speculation. Paul Heyman has been notably absent from WWE programming in recent weeks, leading to rampant speculation about his whereabouts. While some fans assumed Heyman was taking time off after the physical toll of managing the Bloodline's ongoing implosion, others believe he's been working behind the scenes, orchestrating a comeback that could reignite Roman Reigns' dominance. Paul Heyman is a chess master, said Mantell. He doesn't just leave and come back without a grand plan. If rumors are true, he's bringing someone into WWE who could make the War Games match unforgettable. The state of the Bloodline has been in shambles since Jey Uso walked out, and Solo Sikoa began showing signs of dissatisfaction. Reigns has tried to maintain control, but without Jimmy Uso's full commitment, Solo's unspoken rebellion, and Jey's absence, the once unbreakable faction appears fractured. However, Survivor Series presents an opportunity for the Bloodline to redeem itself. The War Games format is tailor-made for Roman Reigns to re-establish his dominance. Still, a fourth or fifth member is crucial for the team's success, especially with rumors suggesting top stars like Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins could anchor the opposing team. Who could Heyman be bringing back? The identity of Heyman's rumored ally has become a hot topic of speculation. Mantell believes it could be someone who fits the Bloodline's narrative but also adds a fresh dynamic to the faction. 1. Jacob Fatu, the powerhouse of Major League Wrestling, MLW, and a relative of the Bloodline. Jacob Fatu has long been seen as a perfect fit for WWE's dominant faction. With his unparalleled athleticism and charisma, Fatu could provide the brute force the Bloodline needs to crush their War Games opponents. 2. Braun Breaker. Though not related to the Bloodline, Braun Breaker's alliance could symbolize Heyman's cunning. The NXT standout is a generational talent with the kind of presence that could elevate any storyline. If Heyman manages to lure Breaker into the Bloodline, it would be a shocking twist that solidifies Roman's stranglehold on WWE. 3. A returning legend. Mantell also hinted at the possibility of Heyman recruiting a WWE legend, such as The Rock. While unlikely given The Rock's Hollywood schedule, his involvement would bring massive mainstream attention to Survivor Series. Why War Games is pivotal for the Bloodline? Survivor Series War Games isn't just another match for Roman Reigns, it's an opportunity to solidify his legacy. After retaining the undisputed WWE Universal Championship for over 1,200 days, Reigns is in uncharted territory. However, the cracks in his faction threaten to undermine his reign. War Games is a format that requires unity and strategy, two things the Bloodline has been struggling with. If Paul Heyman delivers a game-changing addition, it could be the key to rebuilding the faction's aura of invincibility. War Games is about trust, and that's where the Bloodline has been lacking, Mantell noted. But if Heyman's return comes with someone like Jacob Fatu or a big name, that trust could be restored overnight. What does this mean for Roman Reigns? For Reigns, the stakes couldn't be higher. His dominance has been questioned in recent months, and War Games offers a chance to silence critics. However, the addition of a fifth member is critical for his team to succeed. Reigns is the tribal chief, but even a chief needs warriors, Mantell explained. Heyman knows this, and that's why his return is so significant. This isn't just about winning War Games, it's about ensuring Roman stays on top for years to come. Fan reactions to the speculation. WWE fans have been buzzing about the possibility of a new Bloodline member. Social media has been flooded with predictions, with many hoping for Jacob Fatu's WWE debut. Jacob Fatu in the Bloodline would be insane, one fan tweeted. The Bloodline storyline needs fresh blood, and Fatu could be the guy to make it interesting again. Others are skeptical, believing Heyman might bring in someone unexpected. Paul Heyman never does the obvious thing, another fan wrote. I wouldn't be surprised if it's someone like Braun Breaker or even a legend. Potential War Games matchup. If Heyman's return comes with a major addition to the Bloodline, the Survivor Series War Games matchup could become one of the most stacked in WWE history. The rumored lineup for the opposing team includes Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and LA Knight. With a lineup like that, the Bloodline will need all the help they can get. A new member could tip the balance in their favor, ensuring Reigns continues his reign of dominance. Conclusion. Paul Heyman's potential return to WWE alongside a new ally is one of the most intriguing rumors leading up to Survivor Series. Whether it's Jacob Fatu, Braun Breaker, or an unexpected legend, the addition of a fifth member to the Bloodline could redefine the faction's future. For Roman Reigns, War Games is a pivotal moment in his career, and with Heyman by his side, the tribal chief may just remind the WWE Universe why he's the head of the table. As Survivor Series approaches, all eyes are on Paul Heyman and the surprises he might deliver. Will his return mark the beginning of a new era for the Bloodline, or will cracks in the faction continue to deepen? One thing is certain, War Games is shaping up to be a battle for the ages. Bloodline member makes surprise return after nearly 5 months, makes huge announcement. A Bloodline member just made his surprise return to WWE after several months. He also made a huge announcement on the show tonight. Paul Heyman has been involved with Roman Reigns ever since he turned heel in 2020. Since then, he has been the wise man of the tribal chief. His loyalty to the head of the table has been unwavering. Even after Reigns lost his undisputed WWE Universal Championship, Heyman still believed in him. On the June 28, 2024 episode of SmackDown, the Wiseman's loyalty was tested again when Solo Sikoa asked him to acknowledge him as the tribal chief. Upon refusing to do so, Solo and his group put Heyman through an announcer's table. Since then, Heyman has not been seen on WWE TV. Even when Reigns returned to feud with the New Bloodline, Paul was nowhere to be seen. Last week, Reigns tried to contact his Wiseman, but the latter was unreachable. Tonight on the Blue Brand, Solo Sikoa asked Reigns and the OG Bloodline to surrender and join his faction. However, Paul Heyman made his first WWE televised appearance in nearly 5 months and announced that he had found a fifth member to join Reigns' group, CM Punk. Roman Reigns and his faction look even stronger than before with Paul Heyman's return. The WWE Universe was in for a jaw-dropping moment during the latest episode of SmackDown. For weeks, rumors swirled about tension within the bloodline and whispers of someone returning to shake things up. Few, however, could have predicted the seismic shift that was about to unfold when Jey Uso, absent for nearly 5 months, stepped back into the arena. The show opened with Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa in the ring, visibly strained and defensive as they addressed the state of the bloodline. Roman Reigns' absence had left a void, and despite Heyman's best efforts to hold things together, cracks were evident. Heyman spoke of betrayals, failed alliances, and the ongoing war with enemies like Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. But he concluded his address with a cryptic warning: the head of the table is always watching, and soon there will be a reckoning. The tension thickened as Solo remained stoic, his glare daring anyone to challenge the bloodline's dominance. Suddenly, the arena lights dimmed, and an eerie silence filled the air before an all-too-familiar beat dropped, down since Day One-ish. The crowd erupted as Jey Uso's theme blared through the speakers. Fans leapt to their feet, and the camera panned to shocked faces in the audience. It had been 5 months since Jey walked out on the bloodline after their brutal implosion at SummerSlam. His emotional departure, complete with declaring he was done with WWE, left fans speculating whether he would ever return. Tonight, those questions were answered. Jey emerged from the shadows, his trademark energy and swagger intact, but his face carried a more serious demeanor. He sported new gear emblazoned with the words "Legacy Reborn," signaling a shift in his mindset. As Jey slowly made his way to the ring, Heyman's expression oscillated between relief and apprehension, while Solo maintained his stoic stance. "Jey Uso is back!" Michael Cole exclaimed, his excitement mirroring the crowd's energy. "And he looks like a man on a mission." Once in the ring, Jey grabbed a microphone, standing opposite Heyman and Solo. The crowd's deafening chants of "USO! USO!" forced him to pause, soaking in the adoration before finally speaking. "Man, it feels good to be back in front of the real ones." Jey began, eliciting another wave of cheers. "But let's get something straight. I didn't come back to play games, and I definitely didn't come back to fall in line." Heyman interjected, his tone dripping with desperation. "Jey, my tribal chief, our tribal chief, has been waiting for this moment. You've always been an integral part of the bloodline, and together, we can restore our family's legacy." Jey shook his head, smirking as he stared Heyman down. Paul. That's the problem right there, our family. Last I checked, you ain't blood. But you know what? I ain't even here to talk about you. I'm here to talk about what's next." Solo, who had been silent until this moment, stepped forward, his intimidating presence palpable. "What's next is you either fall in line, or I put you down." The crowd gasped at the tension between the two brothers, the once unbreakable bond now hanging by a thread. But Jey, unfazed, raised a hand to stop Solo. Nah, Solo. You don't want to do this." "Not tonight," Jey warned. "See, I didn't come back to fight you, I came back to change the game." Jay paced the ring, the intensity in his voice growing. For too long, we've been letting one man call the shots. One man who's been using all of us to feed his ego. And where's he at now, huh? Sitting at home while we clean up his mess? Nah, that ain't how this works anymore. Heyman's face turned crimson as he protested, "You will watch your tone when speaking about the tribal chief." Jay ignored him, turning his attention back to the crowd. "I spent the last 5 months thinking about everything we've been through, the highs, the betrayals, the family drama. And I realized something: it's time for a new era. It's time for someone to step up and lead this family the right way." The audience erupted in cheers, sensing the gravity of Jay's words. But the biggest shock was yet to come. "That's why," Jay continued, "at Survivor Series, I'm challenging Roman Reigns to a match that'll settle this once and for all. No more bloodline. No more manipulation. Just me and him, man to man, cousin to cousin, for the title of Tribal Chief." The announcement sent shockwaves through the arena. Corey Graves exclaimed, "Did Jey Uso just challenge Roman Reigns? This could change everything." Heyman looked as if he'd seen a ghost, while Solo's stoic mask cracked for a moment, revealing a flicker of surprise. The crowd chanted, "Jay! Jay! Jay!" as Jay stood tall, his determination undeniable. Heyman scrambled to regain control, grabbing the microphone. "Jay, you have no idea what you're doing. Roman Reigns will destroy you. He is the head of the table, the tribal chief, the undisputed champion. You're signing your own death warrant." Jay stepped closer to Heyman, his voice low but firm. "Let him try. Because this time, I'm fighting for me. For my family. For our legacy." Before Heyman could respond, Solo lunged at Jay, but Jay was ready. He ducked Solo's attack and countered with a superkick that sent Solo sprawling out of the ring. The crowd roared as Jay stood tall, daring Solo to come back for more. "Tell Roman I'll see him at Survivor Series," Jay said, dropping the microphone with authority. As Jay's music hit, the atmosphere in the arena was electric. Fans knew this wasn't just another match, it was the culmination of years of storytelling, family drama, and betrayal. The WWE Universe buzzed with anticipation, speculating on how Roman would respond to Jay's challenge. Backstage, the fallout began immediately. Heyman was seen frantically making phone calls, presumably to Roman Reigns, while Solo paced angrily, clearly torn between loyalty to his brother and the tribal chief. Meanwhile, Jay walked through the backstage area, greeted with applause from fellow wrestlers who respected his courage. Later in the show, a cryptic video aired featuring Roman Reigns sitting in a dimly lit room, his signature gold chain glinting in the low light. He didn't say much, but his message was clear: "Jay, you've made your move. Now it's my turn. At Survivor Series, I'll remind you why I'm the tribal chief, and why you'll never be." The stage was set for one of the most personal and high-stakes matches in WWE history. Jey Uso's return not only reignited the Bloodline saga but also promised to redefine its legacy. Fans were left counting down the days to Survivor Series, eager to see if Jay could finally step out of Roman's shadow and claim the title of Tribal Chief, or if Roman would once again prove why he's been the head of the table for so long. One thing was certain: the Bloodline would never be the same. Paul Heyman shares potential WWE return spoiler during SmackDown. This week's episode of WWE SmackDown kicked off with Solo Sikoa and his Bloodline demanding that Roman Reigns show up in the main event and accept his terms of surrender ahead of Survivor Series War Games. It seems that Solo Sikoa believes Reigns is yet to find a fifth member for his War Games team, but it seems that there is one man backstage watching the action unfold. Following the promo, Paul Heyman shared Solo Sikoa's words on his Instagram story, potentially teasing that he could be part of the angle. Heyman was called by Roman Reigns last week on WWE SmackDown, but the call didn't go through. He has just shown that he is watching the show and will be aware that Reigns wanted to speak to him, and he could choose to show up during the main event segment. Heyman has the power to hand Reigns his fifth member for War Games, and it could be a game-changer in the feud between the two bloodlines. However, he also has the power to stack the odds against the OTC, and if he does return, it will be interesting to see whose side he actually takes. It was an electrifying night on WWE SmackDown as fans packed the arena, unaware of the jaw-dropping moment that awaited them. The energy in the building was palpable, with anticipation swirling around the ongoing drama surrounding Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, and the ever-evolving power struggles on the Blue brand. However, no one could have predicted the bombshell that Paul Heyman, the wise man of WWE, was about to drop. The setup, Heyman's ominous presence. The show opened with fireworks and fan-favorite matches, but the night's intrigue truly began when Paul Heyman appeared backstage in a pre-taped vignette. Standing in a dimly lit room, Heyman's expression was one of controlled intensity, his signature smirk hinting at a carefully calculated plan. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, adjusting his tie, "my name is Paul Heyman, and tonight, I have a revelation that will shift the very foundation of SmackDown. Stay tuned." Cryptic words from the master manipulator left fans buzzing on social media, speculating about everything from a potential new member of the Bloodline to the return of a legendary WWE superstar. The Bloodline's turmoil. As the second hour of SmackDown approached, the Bloodline took center stage. Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso stood in the ring, their alliance strained after weeks of tension. Roman Reigns, still recovering from injuries sustained at SummerSlam, was conspicuously absent, leaving his once dominant faction in disarray. Jimmy, ever the mouthpiece of chaos, grabbed a microphone. "The Bloodline doesn't need Roman Reigns to thrive," he declared, earning a mix of boos and cheers from the crowd. "We've got the muscle. We've got the brains. And we've got the future right here with us." Solo Sikoa, stoic and menacing, crossed his arms but said nothing, his silence adding to the tension. It was at this moment that Heyman's music hit, and the arena erupted. The announcement, dressed in his impeccable suit, Paul Heyman walked out, microphone in hand, flanked by two towering security guards. The WWE Universe leaned in as he stepped into the ring, a predator among prey. "Gentlemen," Heyman began, addressing Solo and Jimmy, "I couldn't help but notice the cracks forming in this once unbreakable dynasty. But fear not. As the wise man, I am here to offer solutions, not just for you, but for the WWE Universe." Heyman's tone shifted, becoming more deliberate. "For months, I have observed a glaring void in WWE, a void that even Roman Reigns cannot fill alone. So I reached out to someone who understands what it means to dominate. Someone who knows what it means to be a champion." The crowd erupted in speculation as Heyman paused, soaking in the moment. "And that someone," he continued, his voice dropping to a whisper, "is closer than you think." The shocking return. Before Heyman could elaborate, the arena lights dimmed, and an unfamiliar entrance theme echoed through the speakers. The Titantron lit up with a single word, "Beast." The crowd's collective gasp turned into deafening cheers as Brock Lesnar's music hit, signaling the return of the Beast incarnate. Lesnar emerged from the backstage area, his trademark smirk and intimidating aura intact. The former WWE champion stormed down the ramp, his presence alone enough to send shockwaves through the arena. Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso looked visibly shaken as Lesnar entered the ring, towering over them. Heyman stood off to the side, his expression unreadable. Lesnar grabbed a microphone, addressing the stunned audience. "It's been a while, he said, his voice gravelly yet commanding. "But when Paul Heyman called me, he reminded me of one thing: there's unfinished business in WWE." Heyman's master plan unveiled. Heyman stepped forward, his confidence brimming. "Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to clarify. Brock Lesnar is not here to join the Bloodline. No, no, no. Brock Lesnar is here to reshape the hierarchy of WWE." The crowd roared, understanding the gravity of Heyman's statement. With Roman Reigns at his weakest, the time has come for new alliances to be forged. And while I remain loyal to my tribal chief, I am also a businessman. Brock Lesnar and I have entered into a partnership that will ensure dominance not just for SmackDown but for all of WWE. The announcement sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. Was Heyman subtly betraying Roman Reigns? Was this a ploy to reignite Lesnar's feud with the tribal chief? Or was there an entirely new game plan at play? Lesnar's warning Lesnar turned his attention to Solo and Jimmy, who had yet to recover from the initial shock. "You two think you can hold the bloodline together without Roman?" he asked, his tone mocking. "Good luck with that. Because if you get in my way, I'll break you in half." Solo stepped forward, his body language defiant, but Jimmy held him back, wisely deciding that a confrontation with Lesnar would not end well. Lesnar smirked. "Smart move," he said, dropping the microphone. Backstage fallout as SmackDown went off the air. The backstage area was abuzz with activity. Cameras caught glimpses of WWE superstars reacting to Lesnar's return, some visibly excited, others concerned about what it meant for their own positions. Roman Reigns' absence loomed large, and questions swirled about how the tribal chief would respond. Would he view Heyman's partnership with Lesnar as a betrayal? Or would he see it as a strategic move to strengthen the bloodline? Meanwhile, Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso were seen arguing in the locker room, their already fragile alliance further strained by Lesnar's arrival. Fan reactions on social media, fans exploded with reactions. Some celebrated Lesnar's return, hailing it as a much-needed injection of excitement into WWE storylines. Others criticized Heyman, accusing him of disloyalty to Reigns. One fan tweeted, "Paul Heyman just played 4D chess. He's got Roman, Brock, and the bloodline under his thumb. Genius." Another wrote, "Brock Lesnar returning is huge, but what does this mean for Roman? Is the bloodline falling apart?" The road ahead as the WWE Universe processed the events of the night, one thing became clear: SmackDown had entered uncharted territory. With Brock Lesnar back in the fold and Paul Heyman orchestrating moves behind the scenes, the stage was set for a new era of power struggles and alliances. For Roman Reigns, the challenge was clear. He would need to return sooner rather than later to address the chaos and reassert his dominance. For the bloodline, the question was whether they could survive without their tribal chief leading the way. And for Paul Heyman, the wise man had once again proven that his mind was the most dangerous weapon in WWE. As the show faded to black, the WWE Universe was left with more questions than answers, eagerly awaiting the next chapter in this unfolding saga. One thing was certain: SmackDown would never be the same again. Major spoiler on plans for Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns on WWE SmackDown reports the WWE Universe has been buzzing for the last week over the status of Roman Reigns' relationship with Paul Heyman. Tonight's loaded SmackDown episode is one of the last stops on the road to Survivor Series, War Games, and things are heating up for the Bloodline. Sources have just revealed a big update on what's in store for the Top Blue brand storyline. The Wiseman has been away since late June after being destroyed by the new bloodline for failing to acknowledge Solo Sikoa. Heyman's return has been one of the hottest topics of discussion since then, with increased rumors and speculation as Survivor Series gets closer. In an attempt to call in a favor for War Games, last week's SmackDown ended with Reigns trying to call Heyman, only to discover the phone number is no longer in service. The new tribal chief is set to follow up on last week's WWE SmackDown cliffhanger in a major way tonight, according to PW Insider. Current plans call for big advancements to be made in the current creative angle between Roman and his special counsel. Sources were not clear on if Heyman will actually return to WWE TV tonight. However, there had been talk of keeping the Hall of Famer away until Survivor Series. The former ECW boss is expected to bring the fifth man to the OG Bloodlines team for War Games, speculated as Seth Rollins or Brock Lesnar. As Roman Reigns' dominance in WWE continues to evolve, a new report has surfaced detailing significant creative plans for him and his special counsel, Paul Heyman, on WWE SmackDown. With WrestleMania season on the horizon and the Bloodline storyline still one of the most engaging in wrestling, The creative team is reportedly planning a seismic shift that could alter the trajectory of Roman Reigns' reign and potentially reshape Paul Heyman's role in the company forever. The current state of the Bloodline. The Bloodline has been in disarray since the fallout with Jey Uso earlier this year, followed by Jimmy Uso's reluctant alliance and Solo Sikoa's simmering tensions with his elder cousin. However, Paul Heyman has remained a loyal constant by Roman's side, often serving as the wise man who keeps the faction together. But according to backstage reports, this loyalty may be tested soon in ways no one expects. The current storyline is inching toward a new chapter, one where the cracks in the Bloodline's foundation are set to widen. This arc will reportedly shift its focus from familial infighting to a battle for control and influence over Roman Reigns himself. Paul Heyman's growing frustration. Recent backstage vignettes have teased a subtle but notable shift in Paul Heyman's demeanor. The usually composed wise man has been shown increasingly distressed over Roman's decisions, particularly those involving his treatment of Solo Sikoa. Reports suggest this tension will reach its boiling point in the coming weeks on SmackDown, culminating in Heyman questioning whether Roman has truly lost sight of what made him the tribal chief. One insider hinted that Heyman will be forced to consider where his loyalties truly lie, and Paul Heyman has always been the ultimate opportunist. But for the first time in this storyline, he's going to feel cornered. Does he stick with Roman, whose paranoia is growing, or does he align himself with someone new, someone who could restore balance to the Bloodline? The emergence of a new threat. While Roman Reigns has dominated as the undisputed WWE Universal Champion for over 4 years, his reign may be entering its most vulnerable phase yet. WWE is reportedly planning to introduce a new antagonist who will challenge Reigns, not for his championship, but for his position as tribal chief. This individual, rumored to be a returning legend or a debuting star, is said to have ties to Paul Heyman's past, adding an emotional layer to the impending betrayal. Insiders speculate that this could be a returning Brock Lesnar, who has unfinished business with Roman, or even CM Punk, whose history with Heyman is well documented. Either way, the introduction of this new force is expected to drive a wedge between Reigns and Heyman. The betrayal. According to leaked scripts, one of the most shocking segments of the year is being planned for an upcoming SmackDown, where Paul Heyman will publicly turn on Roman Reigns. While the details remain closely guarded, sources claim the betrayal will be orchestrated during a tribal court segment. Reigns, already on edge from the growing disobedience within the Bloodline, will accuse Heyman of manipulating Solo Sikoa behind his back. However, in a jaw-dropping twist, Heyman will align himself with the new antagonist, declaring that Roman has become a liability and is no longer fit to lead. The promo is expected to harken back to some of Heyman's most iconic work, including his infamous betrayals of Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. And the creative team is pulling out all the stops to make this moment unforgettable, one source revealed. Heyman's betrayal is going to hurt Roman in a way no one else ever has, because it's not just about power, it's deeply personal. The fallout. Roman Reigns as a lone wolf. Following the betrayal, Roman Reigns will reportedly be forced into uncharted territory, fighting without the unwavering support of Paul Heyman. This development is said to be the beginning of a redemption arc for Reigns, where he will have to reevaluate his identity as both champion and tribal chief. WWE sources indicate that Roman's character will take on a darker, more introspective tone, showcasing vulnerability for the first time in years. Fans can expect emotionally charged promos and backstage segments as Reigns grapples with the fallout from Heyman's betrayal and the potential dismantling of the Bloodline. What's next for Paul Heyman? For Paul Heyman, this storyline is poised to cement his legacy as one of the greatest minds in wrestling. After aligning with the new antagonist, Heyman's character will reportedly evolve into a more ruthless and calculating version of himself. No longer the wise man, Heyman will embrace a role akin to that of a chess master, orchestrating chaos to achieve his goals. This shift could also lead to Heyman managing multiple superstars, creating a new faction to rival the Bloodline. Names like Solo Sikoa, Grayson Waller, and even a returning Braun Strowman have been floated as potential recruits for this new stable. The endgame, WrestleMania 40. The ultimate payoff for this storyline appears to be building toward WrestleMania 40, where Roman Reigns will face the new antagonist in a high-stakes match. While the WWE Universal Championship will likely be on the line, the real prize is rumored to be the title of Tribal Chief. This match is expected to feature heavy interference from both the Bloodline and Heyman's new faction, creating a chaotic and emotional spectacle. WWE is reportedly considering adding a stipulation where the loser must step away from WWE indefinitely, raising the stakes even higher. Fan reactions and speculation. The news of Paul Heyman's potential betrayal has already sparked widespread debate among fans. Many are intrigued by the idea of Roman Reigns being forced to stand on his own, while others worry that removing Heyman from the Bloodline storyline could weaken its impact. Social media has also been abuzz with speculation about the identity of the new antagonist. While Brock Lesnar and CM Punk are popular guesses, some fans believe the role could go to an up-and-coming star like Braun Breaker or a returning legend like The Rock. And GT, if The Rock is involved, this could be the biggest storyline WWE has ever done, one fan tweeted. Imagine Heyman turning on Roman to side with the Great One. Conclusion: a storyline for the ages. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Roman Reigns has redefined what it means to be a top star in WWE. Now, with Paul Heyman's betrayal looming and a new challenger on the horizon, Reigns' journey is about to take its most dramatic turn yet. For fans, this storyline represents the culmination of years of storytelling, a chance to see Roman Reigns pushed to his absolute limits. For Paul Heyman, it's an opportunity to remind the world why he's considered one of the greatest managers in wrestling history. And for WWE, it's a chance to deliver a storyline that will be remembered for generations. Stay tuned to SmackDown, as the road to WrestleMania promises to be one of the most thrilling rides in WWE history. For reasons why Paul Heyman called CM Punk behind Roman Reigns back, the latest episode of WWE SmackDown sent shockwaves through the wrestling world as the latest developments in the Bloodline saga took a sensational turn. Paul Heyman returned and unveiled CM Punk as the fifth faction member. This shocking moment occurred after Solo Sikoa demanded that the OG Bloodline surrender and join them, given they had only 4 members on their side. Soon after, the Wiseman made his dramatic return to TV and revealed the best in the world as the final member for War Games. This unexpected segment stunned the WWE Universe. In this article, we will discuss 4 reasons why Paul Heyman brought CM Punk into the Bloodline behind Roman Reigns' back. 4. CM Punk is a Paul Heyman guy. One of the major reasons Paul Heyman brought CM Punk into the fold without Roman Reigns' knowledge is that the voice of the voiceless is also a Heyman guy. This is evident from their past relationship, as Paul Heyman previously served as Punk's manager. Given their strong history, it's clear that the Wiseman shares a deep connection with Punk. This likely influenced his decision to bring him back as the 5th member of the OG Bloodline for War Games. 3. CM Punk has already forgiven Heyman for his past actions. In a segment on SmackDown following WrestleMania XL, Paul Heyman and CM Punk reunited after a long time. During this heartfelt moment, the special counsel became emotional and shared his feelings with Punk. As a result, the best in the world forgave the Hall of Famer for all his past actions. This reunion could also explain why Heyman decided to bring Punk back for War Games. With no animosity remaining between them and a now healthy relationship, it makes sense that Heyman would turn to Punk as a trusted ally for the OG Bloodline. 2. No one was ready to align with Roman Reigns. No one in the locker room was willing to align with the original Tribal Chief. Earlier on SmackDown, Roman Reigns even rejected offers to team up with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. This left Paul Heyman with no choice but to bring in CM Punk as the 5th ally of the OG Bloodline for Survivor Series, War Games. Had someone else been ready to join Reigns, Heyman might not have turned to Punk as the final member. However, with no other options available, Punk's return seems like a logical decision for War Games. 1. Punk and Heyman might have some secret plans. Paul Heyman's return certainly came as a major surprise, but it's still difficult to fully trust the Wiseman, as his current relationship status with CM Punk remains uncertain. This raises the possibility that Heyman might have secret plans in motion. This could explain his return to SmackDown and the decision to reveal Punk as the final member of the OG bloodline. War Games could bring a major twist, with Heyman potentially colluding with Punk to betray Roman Reigns when the moment is right. In the high-stakes world of professional wrestling, alliances and loyalties are often tested, and nothing encapsulates this better than the complex relationship between Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. Heyman has always been known for his Machiavellian mind, capable of navigating WWE's turbulent waters to secure his own position of power. But in recent weeks, his actions have raised eyebrows, particularly when it was revealed that he reached out to CM Punk behind Roman Reigns' back. Here, we explore the 4 key reasons why Paul Heyman made this bold and potentially dangerous move. 1. Securing a future for his legacy. Paul Heyman's legacy within WWE is built on his mastery of managing talent and crafting successful storylines. He's always been the mastermind behind some of the most iconic moments in wrestling history, from managing the likes of Brock Lesnar to creating the persona of ECW. However, in recent years, Heyman's position has become somewhat precarious. With Roman Reigns becoming the undisputed tribal chief, Heyman's influence has been tied directly to Reigns' success. Yet, as Roman's reign continues, there's a looming question: what happens when the head of the table no longer needs Paul Heyman? Roman has grown more self-sufficient, and the need for Heyman's counsel may diminish. This realization could have prompted Heyman to take action to ensure his future. Reaching out to CM Punk, who has been a hot commodity both in and outside of wrestling, may have been Heyman's way of securing a potential backup plan. If Reigns ever moves on, or if their relationship sours, Heyman would want to have another powerful ally on his side, someone with a massive following and the ability to draw ratings. Punk represents the future of WWE in Heyman's eyes, someone who could help him maintain relevance in a rapidly evolving industry. 2. Undermining Roman Reigns' authority. While Roman Reigns has been dominant, his position is not unchallenged. As the tribal chief, Reigns demands loyalty, but Heyman, ever the manipulator, may see this as an opportunity to carve out his own position of power. It's clear that Reigns' influence over the bloodline has been absolute, but cracks have started to show. Tensions between Roman and his family members, like Jimmy and Jey Uso, have been building, and the internal struggles of the bloodline are slowly coming to the surface. Heyman, who has always been the ultimate strategist, may have seen an opportunity to weaken Roman's foundation. By reaching out to CM Punk, Heyman could be laying the groundwork for a backdoor alliance that could shift the power dynamics in the locker room. Punk's history with WWE and his well-documented issues with authority figures, especially those in charge of the bloodline, could make him the perfect weapon in any future conflict with Roman Reigns. Moreover, Punk's reputation as someone who stands against the establishment could help Heyman position himself as an integral player in any rebellion that might occur against Roman. By aligning with Punk, Heyman would have someone who could counteract Roman's influence and challenge his status as the top guy in WWE. 3. The desire for personal revenge on Roman Reigns. Throughout his career, Paul Heyman has been known for having a personal stake in the battles he orchestrates. He is a master of psychological warfare, and it's possible that his decision to reach out to CM Punk was fueled by a sense of betrayal or frustration with Roman Reigns. As Heyman stood in the corner of the tribal chief, he was undeniably sidelined when Reigns took full control of the bloodline. Heyman, once the mouthpiece for Brock Lesnar, had become little more than an advisor to Reigns. While Heyman's loyalty to Roman may have seemed unshakable, it's important to remember that loyalty in wrestling is often tested. If Roman has begun to marginalize Heyman or has failed to acknowledge his contributions as he once did, Heyman might see this as an opportunity to exact some form of revenge. Reaching out to Punk behind Roman's back could have been a way for Heyman to regain some measure of control, ensuring that Reigns understands the value of his services, or else face the consequences of Heyman aligning with someone equally dangerous. CM Punk's own history with Roman Reigns also comes into play here. The two have had their tensions in the past, particularly with Punk's refusal to engage with certain WWE politics. Heyman may be seeking to exploit that animosity, and by leveraging Punk's desire to settle old scores, Heyman could be plotting a way to destabilize Reigns' empire from within. 4. A need to strengthen his position in WWE. At the heart of Heyman's decision may simply be his innate desire to stay relevant within WWE, a company that has evolved rapidly in recent years. Heyman, ever the opportunist, understands that the business is constantly shifting, and his survival depends on aligning himself with the biggest stars. With Roman's reign as the centerpiece of WWE, Heyman has been a crucial player, but the industry is on the cusp of new changes. With stars like CM Punk making waves outside of the company, Heyman may be looking to bring Punk back into WWE's fold to reestablish his influence within the company. Punk's potential return could breathe new life into WWE's programming, bringing in fresh fans and opening up new storylines. For Heyman, this could have been a calculated move to secure a position in the future of WWE, especially if he sees a shift away from the Roman Reigns storyline. With his extensive knowledge of WWE's inner workings, Heyman knows how to position himself at the forefront of major events, and aligning with Punk could be the first step in reasserting his dominance in the company. Punk's return would be a massive storyline, and Heyman, as the master manipulator, would want to be a part of that. If Punk can deliver a game-changing performance, it would reflect positively on Heyman as someone who orchestrated the next big move in wrestling. Conclusion: a calculated gamble. Paul Heyman's decision to reach out to CM Punk behind Roman Reigns' back is a calculated move rooted in his desire to maintain power and influence in WWE. It's about more than just securing Punk as an ally, it's about manipulating the situation to his advantage, ensuring that his legacy is intact no matter what happens with Roman Reigns. In the cutthroat world of WWE, loyalty is fluid, and alliances can be as temporary as they are powerful. For Paul Heyman, the stakes have always been high, and with CM Punk potentially entering the picture, the game may just have gotten more interesting. Whether this backdoor conversation with Punk results in a shift in power or simply serves as a bargaining chip remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Paul Heyman is always thinking several steps ahead.